Picture this. The first cold breath of dawn creeps between thin wooden slats. A faint scent of pine smoke, steel, and old straw fills the air. Somewhere in the distance, a gong murmurs once, heavy and dull. You blink. There is no soft mattress beneath you, no hum of a bedside lamp. Instead, a woven mat pressed against your back, the stiffness of an old cotton kimono against your skin, and a thin rice paper wall barely holding the pale light at bay. Welcome. You are in Japan, but not the Japan of neon signs and vending machines. You've landed squarely in the middle of the Edo period, 17th century, a time of swords and ink, of rigid order and strange beauty. You are a guest of a samurai household, though guest might be a generous term. More like accidental participant. Spoiler. You won't be dueling at dawn. Congratulations. You will, however, survive the morning. Probably. Now, as your eyelids flutter open and your breath fogs faintly in the chilly room, one truth rises above all others. It is going to be a very weird morning. And here it begins. Picture this. A thread of sunlight knifes through the rice paper door, slicing across the mat where you lie. You hear it first. The deliberate swish of silk and the faint clack of wooden sandals on polished planks. Someone slides the door aside. No knock, no greeting. Privacy? No. Warmth? No. Comfort? Very little. An elderly retainer in layered robes peers down at you, one bushy eyebrow lifted. He says a single word, short, clipped, and gestures. Time to get up. You sit. The air bites at your arms. Your joints complain. But there's no lingering here. Already, others are moving in the hall, rustling, muttering, preparing for a ritual that is both precise and, well, let's just say, unexpected. Before your feet even touch the floor, a basin of icy water is placed before you. Not for washing. Not yet. First comes awakening. You are handed a thin wooden stick, a sort of dull comb, and instructed to tap your scalp gently from forehead to crown. Tap, tap, tap. Why? To stimulate the flow of chi, the retainer explains with a nod, and to ward off morning demons. Sleep is dangerous. It leaves one vulnerable to lingering spirits. Tap, tap, tap. You glance around. All the other samurai are doing the same, eyes half closed, like solemn roosters greeting the sun. Spoiler, there is no proof this works. Congratulations, you feel more awake anyway. Next, breathing. Not just any breathing. A square of silk is unrolled before each warrior. The exercise is called Kenkoku no Kokyu, breath of the blade. You are to kneel, palms flat, and take 7 slow, deliberate breaths, each one imagined as sharpening the spirit like a katana edge. Inhale through the nose. Hold. Exhale like steam from an iron kettle. The room fills with the soft hiss of breath. No one speaks. You try it. The first breath sticks, your ribs ache. By the 4th, your shoulders unclench. By the 7th, you almost believe your spirit is a little sharper. Almost. Now the ritual shifts. A small stand appears beside each warrior. On it, their wakizashi, the short sword always worn with the longer katana. Each blade is unwrapped reverently, not for fighting, for cleaning. You are handed soft cloth and oil. Every morning, the blade must be polished, not simply for care, but as an act of reflection. A sword is one's soul. To neglect it is to neglect oneself. You wipe the steel slowly, watching faint distortions of your face ripple along the curve of the blade. One of the samurai across from you, old, stoop-shouldered, murmurs a short verse. Life is a fleeting mist. The blade is a mirror. You think about that. Then go back to polishing. Now comes what might be called dental hygiene, with some imagination. A thin twig of fragrant wood is handed out. Kiri, or willow. The end is chewed until it frays into bristles. No mint toothpaste here, only the bitter, earthy tang of fresh bark. You scrub awkwardly. The taste is forest floor, the texture not unlike brushing with a hedgehog. But the samurai around you do it with practiced ease. A clean mouth, they say, reflects a clean spirit. Your retainer glances your way. You're doing fine. Probably. At your side kneels a young man of perhaps 17, hair tightly bound, eyes sharp. He will inherit a modest stipend, barely enough to maintain his rank. But here he kneels every dawn, performing each ritual with near fanatical care. Why? Because these acts, small though they seem, are his armor in a world where a misplaced word could cost him everything. You watch him polish, breathe, tap his scalp. The discipline is beautiful and faintly sad. At last, the morning rituals close. One final act. 3 slow bows to the kamidana, a tiny household shrine perched high upon the wall. You follow suit. Bow, breathe, bow again. Outside, the sun has cleared the horizon. The household stirs, and your first glimpse of a samurai's morning leaves you bemused. Rigorous? Yes. Strange? Absolutely. Centering? Against all odds? A little. And so the paper door slides wide once more. Cold air spills in, and the day begins, and here the mist of sleep for a moment lifts, only to settle once more. Picture this. The floor is cold against your bare feet as you rise fully now, tugging your thin robe tighter. The air smells of cedar and faint ash. Down the corridor, other shapes stir, silhouettes moving through paper walls, voices muffled in the chill. No clocks tick here, no alarms ring, yet time runs like a narrow stream, swift, measured, unstoppable. The retainer gestures again. Now you will see the rest of this strange house, and discover why comfort is a very loose term. You shuffle after him. The room where you slept was no grand chamber, merely a corner of a long, narrow house, polished wood, faint incense, paper doors that slide with a dry sigh. Space is a luxury here, and a symbol. The higher your rank, the more room you command. You? Not much, but enough. Walls are thin as breath, yet somehow hold the cold at bay. A single brazier smolders in the hallway. Warmth for everyone, though it barely warms the toes. Tepla, net. Privatnosti, net. Nadezhdi, chut chut. Shoji doors glide open, revealing a small veranda. Beyond it, a raked gravel garden, skeletal trees, the first light catching on frost-edged leaves. It is beautiful and merciless. And now, your body demands its own ritual. Not the solemn, blade-breathing kind, the practical one. The retainer points you down a narrow side hall. No explanation needed. You follow. There is no bathroom in the modern sense. Instead, a small outbuilding behind the house. A wooden door, iron latch, cold handle beneath your fingers. You step inside. The air is sharp with old wood, faint mildew, a distant hint of ammonia. Before you stands a simple platform with a squat hole beneath. The benjo. No plumbing, no porcelain. Beneath the floor, a deep pit layered with ash. A family of spiders eyes you from one corner. You crouch carefully. The wooden seat is cold as stone. A small wooden ladle rests nearby. Water, kept in a glazed jar, is used to rinse, not flush. The logic is simple. Waste is collected and later used as fertilizer. Night soil, they call it, with a straight face. Spoiler, this system persists for centuries. Congratulations. You've now experienced it firsthand. Emerging, you breathe deep of the frosted air. That outbuilding will remain memorable. Back inside, another basin of cold water awaits. Time to cleanse your face and hands, an act of both hygiene and respect. The water bites like needles. You splash your face, trying not to gasp. The samurai behind you does the same, expression unreadable. No soap, just water. Clean enough. Now a curious step. A pouch of fine ground powder, roasted rice bran, is passed around. Each warrior takes a pinch, rubbing it between damp palms, then over face and neck. A primitive exfoliant, yes, but more than that, a ritual of renewal, to wash away the sleep and whatever spirits might still cling. You follow suit. The powder smells faintly of toasted grain. Your skin feels smoother, awake. Another glance around. Even the most grizzled veteran performs this step with care. Clean body, clear mind, ready spirit. And now, hair. For the samurai, hair is more than fashion. It is identity, discipline, status. At a side bench, a young attendant waits with combs and oil. You are seated, hair unbound, gently combed through. The motion is slow, almost meditative. The oil, camellia, smells faintly floral, masking any less pleasant scents. For the higher ranked, hair is drawn into a chonmage, the classic samurai topknot. Practical? Perhaps not. Symbolic? Utterly. Today they do not style yours so formally. You remain an odd guest. But even this basic grooming is a kind of silent ceremony. A minor portrait here, the elderly attendant combing your hair. Movements deft, despite knotted fingers. His own hair is thin, but his pride in this small task shines clear. For 50 years he has served this household, not with blade, but with comb and cloth. In his way, a warrior too. Last of all, the feet. A shallow tub is brought forward. You are to rinse your feet as a sign of shedding the impurities of sleep. Warm water? Of course not. Cold again, sharp as ice. You grit your teeth and dip each foot, rubbing briskly. Why? Because one must step into the day untainted, as though crossing a sacred threshold. The retainer nods approvingly. You are ready, or close enough. And so the household stirs louder now, voices rising, footsteps quickening. The first smells of breakfast drift faintly through the air. Miso, rice, something frying. You draw your robe tighter. One small ritual follows another here, weaving a web of calm readiness. And the day, strange though it is, begins to take shape. And now the light thickens beyond the paper walls. And you follow, step by step. Picture this. You follow the retainer through a narrow corridor, your footsteps soft on polished wood. The scent of cooking grows stronger. Smoky miso, tangy pickles, the faint richness of simmering broth. But first, before food, clothing. The morning robe you wear is for sleep and ceremony only. The garments of the day await, and with them, a new layer of meaning. You are led to a small chamber where folded fabric rests in neat stacks. A single paper lantern flickers, casting long shadows across the floor. No closet, no hangers, no abundance. 3 layers, carefully chosen. Your undergarment is simple, a soft cotton juban, worn close to the skin. It smells faintly of cedar and starch. Over it, a layer of thicker cotton, the kimono proper. The fabric is dark, subtle, its weave tight and strong. No garish patterns here. Samurai dress with restraint. And last, the hakama, a pleated skirt-like garment tied firmly at the waist. You fumble at first. The retainer watches, impassive. A few quick gestures, this tie here, that fold there. And your attire is complete. Restrained, clean, ready, and heavy. The layers weigh on you, a constant reminder of presence, of duty. Spoiler, comfort is not the goal. Congratulations, you look the part. Footwear next. Thin tabi socks with split toes, white, pristine, easily soiled. And over them, wooden geta sandals. Clack, clack, clack. The sound will follow you all day, echoing through courtyards and streets alike. Samurai move with purpose, and their footsteps announce it. A minor portrait. A young maid kneels in the corner, repairing worn straps on a set of geta. Her fingers move deftly, thread flashing in the dim light. She will never wear such sandals herself, Her place is behind the walls. But the work must be perfect. Perfection is its own armor. You glance in a small, polished bronze mirror. A stranger looks back, layered in cloth, hair oiled and combed, eyes sharp despite the lingering pull of sleep. The transformation is striking. And yet, beneath it, you remain yourself. Barely. The retainer nods once. Time for the final preparation. Weapons. No samurai is complete without them. Today, your role is still that of a guest, but form must be observed. You are handed a practice wakizashi, blade dull but weight real. It slips into your sash with a satisfying shift of balance. Others in the house wear their full daisho set, katana and wakizashi both, blades gleaming from their morning polish. They move with an easy grace, the swords an extension of self. You walk among them, acutely aware of the weight at your side. A question floats through your mind. Is it the blade that grants presence or presence that honors the blade? No one answers. Now, one last ritual before breakfast. Incense. In a side chamber, a small brazier burns low. Each person steps forward, takes a pinch of fragrant powder, sandalwood perhaps, or aloes wood, and sprinkles it over the coals. The smoke curls upward in thin, ghostly tendrils. You follow suit. The scent is rich, heady, oddly calming. This is a moment of grounding, to steady the spirit before the bustle of the day. The room is silent save for the faint crackle of embers. Each warrior lingers a moment longer, gaze unfocused, breath slow. A pause within motion. Outside, the world brightens. Sunlight spills across the veranda, gilding the edges of the garden. The air is crisp, sharp enough to sting the lungs. The house hums now with quiet energy, a machine of tradition winding itself toward full motion. And you, clothed and armed, stand within it. The strangeness of the morning has not faded. If anything, it deepens, each gesture layered with unseen meaning, each act a thread in a vast, intricate tapestry. Yet beneath the oddity, a rhythm emerges, a kind of peace. Step by step, breath by breath, you begin to move within it. And so the household gathers once more, and the scent of breakfast draws you onward. Picture this. The sliding doors part, and the scent of breakfast rolls out like a warm tide. You follow the others into a long, low room, the dining chamber. Its walls are paper thin, its floor polished and bare. No chairs, of course. You kneel on flat cushions, legs tucked beneath you, a position that promises elegance, and pins and needles. Across the lacquered floor, small trays are laid out. Each holds a careful arrangement of dishes, more art than meal. Spoiler, you will not leave stuffed. Congratulations, you will leave intrigued. The first thing that strikes you is the silence. There is no clatter of plates, no idle chatter. The meal begins with a bow, first to the household shrine, then to the host. You mimic the motions, awkward but earnest. And then, the meal. A shallow bowl of miso soup, steam rising in delicate spirals. The scent is deep. Fermented soybean, seaweed, a faint earthy tang. You lift the bowl with both hands, no spoon. You sip directly, letting the warmth flood your chilled insides. The saltiness bites first, then mellows. Umami blooms across your tongue. It is both humble and profound. Next, rice. A small porcelain bowl of white rice, perfectly cooked. Each grain distinct, tender, gleaming. You are handed chopsticks, long, slender, lacquered dark red. Handling them is an art, and yours is in progress. You manage to lift a few grains without catastrophe. Success, spoiler. Rice is life here. It is currency, sustenance, and ceremony in one. Congratulations. You've eaten your first official mouthful. Pickles arrive next, tsukemono. Bright slivers of radish, cucumber, plum. Each bite is sharp, salty, a counterpoint to the mildness of rice. These are not mere garnishes. They balance the meal, awaken the palate, preserve the body. You chew slowly. Each flavor unfurls like a story. A minor portrait. An old woman in the kitchen, hunched but tireless, crafting these pickles by hand. She knows exactly when to salt, when to press, when to wait. Generations of knowledge in each crisp bite. Now a surprise. Fish, a small grilled fillet, gleaming with a brush of soy and sake. The skin is blistered, the flesh tender. You flake off a piece. The taste is smoky, savory, with a hint of ocean brine. Fresh fish is a luxury. Its presence here marks this as a household of means. Not extravagant, but respectable. You chew slowly, the richness lingering on your tongue. Tea follows. Bright green, grassy, faintly bitter. It clears the mouth, sharpens the senses, and signals the nearing end of the meal. You sip with both hands, as tradition dictates. The warmth seeps into your fingers, your chest. In this moment, you feel something rare, contentment, a ritual of nourishment that is also one of harmony. But not all are so lucky. Beyond the house walls, many eat simpler fare. Millet gruel, perhaps, or cold rice from the night before. A minor portrait here. A farmer's daughter crouched by a low hearth, stirring thin porridge with a bamboo paddle. Her meal is sparse, but her hands move with care. Gratitude is a form of wealth. Back in the dining room, bowls are emptied, chopsticks laid to rest. A final bow concludes the meal. Silence returns. No napkins, no waste. Each dish is wiped clean with practiced efficiency. You rise slowly, knees protesting. The others move gracefully, their discipline extending even here. And so breakfast ends, not with fullness, but with readiness. Outside, the sun climbs higher, casting crisp shadows across the garden. The day awaits, sharp-edged, unpredictable. And you, stranger in a strange house, take your place within it. And now the paper door slides open once more, and the chill of the morning greets you anew. Picture this. You stand once more in the crisp morning air. The household stirs around you, silent yet purposeful. And now your guide gestures again. It is time to see the world beyond these sliding doors, to step onto the road. You follow him through the inner gate. The clack of wooden sandals returns, echoing faintly against the stones. Outside, the air is sharper, laced with smoke from distant hearths. The village beyond waits, ancient and alive. And with it, the first of today's subtle dangers. The road is little more than a wide path of tamped earth, edged with stone and lined by crooked wooden houses. Smoke coils from low thatched roofs. The scents are layered. Pine, manure, sweet chestnut cakes sizzling on griddles. You walk amid it all, eyes wide. Travel is not casual here. Each journey requires purpose. The roads teem with life. Merchants bent beneath heavy loads. Farmers with bundles of reeds. Children darting like fish through the throng. And above them, always, the samurai. Their presence parts the crowd like a blade. Heads bow, backs bend. You catch stray glances, curiosity, caution, a flicker of fear. Spoiler, walking here is performance. Congratulations, you've just joined the cast. The road itself is no mere backdrop. It is an ecosystem. Vendors shout softly from wooden stalls, their cries rising above the murmur. Miso, fresh miso, good straw sandals, 2 pairs for a coin. A fishmonger fans away flies with a willow switch. Nearby, a tinker hammers dents from a battered kettle, sparks flying in tiny bursts. Everywhere, the rhythm of trade hums beneath the surface. You pass a small side stall where tiny rice cakes rest beneath a bamboo cover. The vendor, an old man with clouded eyes, bows deeply as you pass. Respect? Yes. And survival. For one slighted samurai could end a livelihood. You nod in return. A small courtesy can travel far. Danger, too, travels these roads. Banditry may be rare near the village, but tension is constant. You pass a narrow alley where two rough-clad men lean against a post. Their eyes track you, and more pointedly, the swords of your companions. They do not follow. The unspoken message is clear. A minor portrait, one of the samurai ahead, middle-aged, scarred, fingers resting lightly on his hilt. His gaze sweeps the crowd in slow arcs. He has walked this path many times. He knows where to look, when to pause, when to strike. Today, no blade is drawn, but the edge remains close. Transportation, too, follows its own strange order. You pass an ox cart laden with bales of straw, the beast snorting in the cold. Behind it, a pair of litter-bearers jog lightly, a palanquin swaying between them. The wealthy ride unseen, screened from dust and gaze alike. You walk on foot, as most do. The sandals bite against stone, the air stings your cheeks. Each step is a small assertion. I am here, I endure. Now the road climbs slightly, winding past shrines and small groves. The trees are bare, branches stark against the pale sky. Wind whispers through them, stirring dry leaves into tiny dances. A lone monk passes, head bowed, staff tapping softly. His robes are worn, his sandals thinner than yours. Yet his gaze is steady, untroubled. A quiet lesson. The road tests not the body alone, but the spirit. The village spreads wider now. Shops give way to open yards, then to fields rimmed with frost. Farmers move through stubbled earth, tools glinting in thin sunlight. Beyond them the hills rise, folds of gray and green. Somewhere there deeper roads wait, and with them deeper perils. But for now, your path turns. The retainer halts, gestures toward a wide courtyard ahead. Time to return. The road has shown its face and its teeth. And as you step through the gate once more, the house receives you like breath drawn in. Picture this. You step back into the house, wooden sandals striking the threshold with a dull thud. The sun has climbed, pale but bright. The cold lingers, caught in the beams of the rafters. And now, another kind of preparation begins. Work. For the household, for the rank you temporarily inhabit, and for the world beyond these walls, governed by layer upon layer of etiquette, duty, and subtle pressure. First, you will see the life of those who labor not with the blade, but with their hands, and learn that survival here is its own quiet art. The retainer leads you to a side wing of the house, where the air grows warmer, tinged with smoke and iron. A small forge hums within, the beaten heart of craft. Here, the blacksmith works. His face is streaked with soot, sleeves bound tight. Sparks leap from the anvil in brief, bright showers. The hammer falls in steady rhythm. Not on a blade today. On nails, fittings, hinges. Such labor might seem mundane, yet every piece bears weight. A loose fitting, a weak rivet, and failure follows. You watch as molten metal cools, hardens, is shaped beneath skilled hands. And amid this, a minor portrait. A boy of perhaps 10, eyes wide, hands calloused beyond his years. He works the bellows with fierce pride, sweat gleaming on his brow. His father's words echo softly. Strength lies not in the sword alone. Beyond the forge, the loom room hums with a softer rhythm. Women sit cross-legged before wooden frames, fingers flying. Silk threads gleam like water beneath the loom's press. A bolt of dark indigo cloth takes form, slow, precise, hypnotic. You kneel briefly to observe. The process is deceptively complex. Each thread chosen, each tension set just so. This cloth may become garment, a banner, even the wrapping of a blade. Nothing here is wasted. Nothing is rushed. You run a hand lightly over the finished fabric. It shivers beneath your touch, alive with effort unseen. And now, the kitchen. Here the air grows thick with steam and the sharp tang of ferment. Large wooden vats bubble quietly, miso in the making. A heavy mortar stands ready, its sides slick with crushed soybeans. Beside it, baskets of rice await steaming. Preservation is survival. Each season brings its own labor, its own stored promise. You watch as miso paste is packed into cedar barrels, the lids weighted with stones. A faint yeasty aroma rises, ancient, comforting, indispensable. A minor portrait, an elderly woman, face lined like old paper, sings softly as she works. The song is older than memory, its melody rising and falling with the motions of her hands. She will not see the final taste of this batch. It will belong to next season. Yet still she sings. The garden calls next. Winter grips it still. Yet hands move among the bare branches and frost-clad earth. A man in faded robes kneels beneath a skeletal plum tree, pruning with slow, deliberate snips. Each cut matters. Each branch spared or sacrificed shapes the fruit of seasons yet to come. You crouch beside him. He says nothing, only gestures for you to try. The shears feel alien in your grasp. You clip once, twice, uncertain, cautious. The man nods once, faint approval in his gaze. No words are needed. Patience grows here as surely as fruit. And now the storerooms. You follow the retainer into the cool dark of an earthen cellar. Bundles of dried herbs hang from beams, their scents mingling, mint, shiso, wormwood. Clay jars line the shelves, pickles, dried fish, preserved plums. Rice sacks rest in neat rows, guarded as fiercely as coin. You run your fingers over one rough sack. The grains within whisper softly, a stored heartbeat against the cold. Spoiler. Famine is a memory that walks close behind every season. Congratulations. You walk with greater respect now. Emerging once more, the courtyard greets you, bright with cold sunlight. The craftsmen, the weavers, the cooks, each has returned to their rhythm. And you? You have glimpsed the pulse beneath the polished surface of this house. Not all warriors bear swords. Some wield thread, flame, patience, and in their labors a deeper strength resides. And so the retainer beckons again. And the next layer of the day awaits. Picture this. The sun stands higher now, thin shadows crossing the courtyard. The household shifts again, from inner labors to outer duties. And with this, you are led beyond the gates once more. Not on foot this time. Today, you will ride, or more precisely, be conveyed. For travel itself is ritual here, as laden with meaning as with motion. And the road beyond the village holds both promise and unseen threat. You step into the cool daylight, breath clouding faintly, and your strange journey resumes. The retainer gestures toward a waiting palanquin, lacquered wood, silk curtains drawn. It is no grand carriage, no symbol of high rank, simply a means of movement, swift, concealed, practical. You bow slightly and step within. The floor creaks beneath your weight. The cushions are thin but clean. Outside, the bearers lift in unison. The world sways gently as they set off, sandals crunching on the packed earth. The village slides past in glimpses. Roof lines, market stalls, children darting in play. And then, with a final jolt, you pass beyond the outer gate. Now the real road begins. It is a narrow path, rutted from winter rain. Flanked by thin woods and winding streams, its edges blur into the wild beyond. Travel here is no casual act. Each road belongs to someone, a domain lord, a temple, a toll master. Passage is granted, not assumed. At the first checkpoint, the palanquin halts. A low-roofed gatehouse squats across the road. Two guards in rough livery step forward, spears in hand. One lifts the curtain, eyes flicking over you, not with suspicion, but calculation. Rank is currency here, displayed in dress, bearing, escort. Satisfied, he nods and steps back. The palanquin sways into motion once more. Spoiler: without escort, this road might swallow you whole. Congratulations. You ride beneath a shield of borrowed status. The forest thickens. Sunlight filters in ragged shafts through bare branches. Birdsong flits through the cold air. Sparse, hesitant. Somewhere distant, the cry of a hawk echoes once, then fades. The bearers move steadily, their breaths misting in rhythm. You shift within the swaying box, both cocooned and exposed. A minor portrait. One bearer, younger than the rest, cheeks flushed with effort. His grip is steady, yet his gaze flickers toward the woods. He has heard the stories. Bandits, spirits, worse. And while none show today, the fear rides with him, and perhaps with you. The road twists again, descending toward a narrow bridge of rough-hewn logs. Here the bearers pause. Such crossings are not taken lightly. One slip, one rotten beam, and all falls. They confer briefly, voices low. Then, with careful steps, they cross, the palanquin tilting slightly with each shift of weight. You hold your breath. The stream below gurgles softly, dark and swift. A creak, a shudder. Then, solid ground once more. Spoiler: ancient bridges test more than wood. Congratulations, your faith held this time. Now the road opens, widening into a small clearing where travelers rest. Here life stirs, merchants with laden ponies, pilgrims in straw hats, a lone ronin sharpening his blade with slow, deliberate strokes. Eyes meet yours briefly as the curtain parts. Some curious, some cautious. A few calculating. Your escort steps close now, hand near the hilt. Presence must be maintained. Vulnerability invites invitation, and not of the welcome kind. A quiet tension hums beneath the surface. Yet no challenge comes. Respect outweighs curiosity. The sun begins to tilt westward, shadows lengthening. The bearers set off again, pace steady despite the growing chill. The road bends once more toward the outskirts of another village. Smaller, rougher than the one you left. Here life is harder, faces leaner, gazes sharper. Yet trade flows even here. Grain, salt, sake moving in quiet exchange. And beneath it all, the unspoken truth. The road connects, divides, consumes. Today it has carried you safely. Tomorrow, no promise is made. As the palanquin halts once more, the house gate rises before you again. The bearers lower their burden with care. The retainer offers a brief bow. You step out, legs stiff, senses sharpened by the strange, swaying journey. The road has shown its face, and you have passed through. And now the gate closes softly behind you, and the house breathes you in once more. Picture this. The house settles around you again, as if the road and the world beyond were only a passing dream. But within these walls, life hums on its own cadence. And now, you are to witness the labor that defines the backbone of this land. Not the polished rituals of warriors, but the hard, unending work of those who feed and build and craft. The samurai may bear the sword, but the farmers and artisans bear the future. You follow a different path now, one that leads far from lacquered chambers and silk curtains. You cross the threshold once more and step into the fields. The air sharpens outside the village. Frost still grips the edges of the rice paddies, thin ice crackling beneath each step. A pale sun glistens on the waterlogged earth. And already they are there. Bent figures moving in slow rhythm, breath misting with effort. The farmers. Winter is no time of rest. The land sleeps lightly. The work shifts but never stops. You watch as men and women tend the dikes, clear channels, patch battered embankments. Their hands are raw, sleeves soaked. Yet the motion flows, practiced, patient, unbroken. Spoiler, no festival marks this labor. Congratulations. You now know its quiet dignity. You crouch by one field's edge, cold mud sucking at your heels. A man with weathered skin and sharp eyes gestures to a battered rake. You take it, awkward, heavy. He nods once. Work. And so you do, drawing muck from the water's edge, smoothing the path where seedlings will soon take root. Your breath comes faster, arms ache. Yet the rhythm settles, pulls you forward. Around you, no words are spoken. Only the soft squelch of mud, the hiss of breath, the faint clink of tools. A different kind of ritual, a different kind of strength. A minor portrait, a woman near you, face lined by sun and wind. She moves with steady grace, shoulders strong beneath thin cloth. Her son crouches beside her, barely old enough to walk straight, yet already mimicking her motions. In this field lies their hope, their risk, their resilience. And still, they smile. Beyond the paddies, the village workshops hum. You follow the retainer down a narrow path flanked by sheds and smoke-blackened beams. Here the crafts live. First, the cooper's shed. Inside, a man and two apprentices shape staves of cedar, fitting them with deft taps into a new barrel. The scent of fresh wood and heated resin fills the air. Each strike is measured, each seam checked and rechecked. For a leaking barrel is not just waste, it is shame. You watch the master lean close, ire near the wood, listening for flaws no eye can catch. Craft is meditation here. Next, the papermaker. A small stream diverts through wooden troughs. Pulp floats in milky clouds within broad vats. A woman stands waist-deep in the water, lifting a bamboo screen with practiced grace. Thin sheets form beneath her hands, wet, fragile, gleaming. Soon they will dry in the winter sun, crisp and pale. Paper, the breath of learning, of record, of beauty, and born of mud and water and tireless hands. You pause at a potter's kiln next, heat rolling from its open mouth. Within, clay vessels glow faintly orange, their skins hardening in the dance of flame. A man crouches nearby, eyes narrowed, adjusting vents and feeding slender branches into the fire. Timing here is art. A moment too long, ruin. A moment too short, weakness. Spoiler, perfection lives on a knife's edge. Congratulations. You now see its price. And now, the carpenters. You step into a wide, cool shed where beams lie stacked like bones. Two men plane thick planks with long, slender blades. The shavings curl away in paper-thin ribbons, drifting to the floor in pale drifts. The scent of cypress fills your lungs, clean, sharp, almost sweet. Each stroke is deliberate, each angle checked thrice. Buildings rise not from haste, but from reverence for wood and time. You run your fingers over one beam, its surface smooth as silk, grain alive beneath your touch. A minor portrait here, a young carpenter's apprentice, sleeves rolled, lip caught between teeth as he measures, marks, and cuts. His first solo project, a low stool for the temple, his future balanced upon that humble seat. You watch his blade bite wood, steady despite trembling hands, and when the last edge is smoothed, his smile is shy, but fierce, a small triumph, a quiet victory. The sun begins to slide westward now, gilding frost-edged branches. The craftsmen continue unhurried, unbowed. Their work shapes the unseen bones of this world, barrels to hold, paper to remember, beams to shelter, fields to feed. And you, strange guest in this ancient place, have glimpsed their art. No blade drawn, no banner raised. Yet here lies the true strength of the land. And as you turn toward the house once more, the scent of wood smoke trails behind you, warm and rich. Picture this. The sun leans westward, its light thinning to a pale, sharp clarity. You step back through the gate, the house welcoming you once more, though its air now hums with a different tension. Within these walls, not all hands shape wood or earth. Some wield words, others power. And now you are to glimpse the rhythm of their day. Those who rule and serve, who calculate and command, who walk not the fields, but the corridors of influence. Spoiler, less sweat here, more silk. Congratulations, you'll leave with eyes a little wider. The first room beyond the inner garden is not grand, yet it breathes status, calligraphy scrolls, lacquered chests, silk cushions arranged with exacting care. Here the steward works, his task to maintain the household's pulse. You kneel nearby as he moves with quiet precision, sorting ledgers, weighing silver coins, sealing orders with a flick of his brush. Ink scents the air, rich and iron-tinged. The scratch of the brush is a steady counterpoint to the silence. A single missing stroke here could mean lost rice, offended lords, or worse. You watch as he counts. Not just goods, but favors, debts, obligations. In this house, balance is survival. Beyond, the council chamber. A low, broad room where mats are laid in strict pattern, and rank breathes from the smallest gesture. The lord of the house, your host, though you've scarcely seen him, sits at the head, still as a stone beneath layered robes. Around him, senior retainers kneel, voices pitched low. The matters of the day flow like a silent river. Grain stores, tax disputes, the marriage of a distant cousin, a border skirmish whispered but not yet named. You sit to one side, observing. Here power moves not in shouts or strikes, but in the weight of words withheld. A single nod, a single glance. Entire outcomes decided. Spoiler, the sword is loud. Congratulations, the voice is sharper. A minor portrait. One retainer, perhaps 60, voice thin but steady. He speaks of road repairs, of flood damage. No flair, no self-importance. Only clear, precise facts. Yet when he finishes, the Lord inclines his head, deeper than for others. Respect earned not by birth, but by unbroken service. A quiet kind of victory. Later, the archive. You follow a younger clerk through dim corridors lined with scrolls and bound ledgers. The scent of old paper and cedar fills the air. Here history waits, unrolled, reread, weighed against the needs of the present. Records of land grants, warrior deeds, even poems copied in flowing hand. Knowledge is a blade of its own here, patient, enduring, deadly when needed. You watch as the clerk selects a scroll, checks it thrice, returns it with reverence. The past is never truly past. Now the garden, not for leisure but for diplomacy. Two visitors arrive, robes gleaming, words chosen as carefully as their gifts. Tea is served. Phrases flow, layered and polite, yet edged with intent. The Lord speaks little. His steward watches much. You sit nearby, the cool porcelain cup warming your hands, the ritual unfolding like a slow dance. Here alliances shift with a glance. Hostility hides beneath compliments. Spoiler, war need not raise a blade. Congratulations, you've seen one drawn in words. A minor portrait, the younger visitor, voice smooth, eyes restless. He speaks of tribute, of shared harvests, yet his gaze flickers often to the Lord's sword resting nearby. A man learning still the weight of words and of silence. His lesson continues. As the visitors depart, twilight deepens. The household breathes out, a long, slow exhale. The business of the day recedes, for now. Yet its threads remain, woven into the fabric of the house, the village, the land beyond. And you have glimpsed their weaving, another kind of labor, another kind of strength. And as the lamps are lit, and the first stars pierce the sky, the house prepares to shift once more, Picture this. Night creeps closer, shadows stretching long across stone and wood. But the house does not yet sleep. Now the flow turns outward, toward market stalls and narrow lanes where coin speaks louder than blood. And here you will follow. For no household, no warrior, no farmer lives apart from the pulse of trade. And where there is trade, there are schemes. Spoiler, honesty walks with a limp. Congratulations, you'll walk beside it anyway. You step into the chill evening air once more, a small purse of coins pressed discreetly into your sleeve. The market lies just beyond the main square, a sprawl of awnings, crates, low stalls, and watchful eyes. The scents hit first. Grilled fish, fresh herbs, sweet chestnuts blackened over coals. Then the sounds, soft bargaining, sharper calls. The rustle of silk against rough homespun. You blend in with your escort, eyes wide. This is no place for pride, only skill and caution. A stall catches your eye, fine lacquerware gleaming beneath a swaying lantern. Boxes, combs, bowls, all polished to a mirror sheen. The merchant bows low, words flowing like water. Exquisite work, honored guest. A gift for your lord, perhaps. You lift a box, light, perfect to the touch. Yet your escort shakes his head once, subtly. The lacquer is thin, the price inflated. A quiet lesson. Beauty here is often skin deep. Spoiler, every coin has two faces. Congratulations. You've glimpsed both. A minor portrait, a boy of 12 weaving through the crowd, tray of silk cords balanced on one shoulder. He calls softly, eyes alert. Each cord a prayer charm, for health, for fortune, for love unspoken. His profits will buy rice for his family tonight, or fail to. And still, his smile flashes bright beneath the strain. Further on, the money changers. A squat wooden booth, iron bars set across its front. Inside, a sharp-eyed man counts coin by touch alone. Silver, copper, even the rare gold piece. You watch as a farmer presents a heavy pouch, fingers trembling. The changer's glance is swift, practiced. One coin slips aside, counterfeit. No outrage, no accusation. Only a quiet nod, a smaller sum offered in return. Here the rules are known. The game is played in silence. Now the tax collectors. A side chamber, guarded, dim. Here ledgers thicken with new entries. Coins stacked in neat, accusing rows. A merchant bows low, presents his earnings. The collector's brush moves swiftly, tallying not just coin, but favor and fault. One missing mark, one late payment, a fine, a warning, a whisper carried home. Spoiler, the sword cuts swiftly. Congratulations, the pen cuts deeper. A minor portrait, an old vendor counting meager coins, hands shaking. His stall burned last season. His debt lingers still. Yet here he kneels again, payment in hand, dignity unbowed. Some debts weigh heavier than gold. Beyond the taxes, the gamblers, a dim alley off the main square hums with a different tension. Dice clatter on worn boards. Low laughter flickers like candle flame. Uncertain, dangerous. You pause, unseen, as coins change hands in swift, secret flows. For some, fortune turns here faster than the moon. For most, it turns to ash. And now, the true predators. A tall man in muted robes moves through the crowd, smile thin as paper. His words are soft, his gaze sharp. Loans offered, generous at first glance. Repayment promised in blood if coin fails. Such men prosper where hunger walks close behind. Spoiler, trust is the rarest coin. Congratulations, yours remains unspent. The market begins to thin, lanterns flickering lower. Trade winds down, but its undercurrents swirl on. You step back toward the house, purse lighter, mind sharper. Here, survival is its own trade. And as the gates close behind you once more, the night breathes deeper, and a new kind of spectacle begins to stir. Picture this. Night has fallen in full now, deep and crisp. The house stands hushed for a moment, breath held, lamps glowing softly within. And beyond its gates, the village stirs to a different pulse entirely. Tonight, the boundaries between station and common vanish, or at least blur, in the name of spectacle, celebration, and risk. And you will walk among them. Spoiler, not every game is fair. Congratulations, you're learning to play anyway. The retainer gestures once more, and you follow him through the gate into the cold, star-pierced dark. Lanterns sway along narrow lanes, their glow turning frost to gold. The square ahead hums with life, voices rising, laughter spilling out in bursts. Tonight, the village celebrates the local shrine's winter festival. And beneath the banners and paper streamers, 1,000 stories flicker. First, the dancers. A wide circle clears amid the crowd. Young women in layered robes step forward, sleeves trailing like wings. A slow drumbeat begins. Low, insistent. Their feet move in liquid arcs, sleeves swirling, faces serene. Each gesture echoes an old tale. The river spirit, the lonely crane, the warrior's farewell. You watch, breath caught. Not performance, prayer, a minor portrait. One dancer near the edge, perhaps 15, nervous, eyes bright with unspoken pride. Tonight, her first public dance. Each step a leap across invisible thresholds. Now the food stalls, an offering to body as much as spirit. Steam coils thick from iron griddles. Skewers of eel glisten with sweet glaze. Cakes of pounded rice, crisp outside, soft within, draw eager hands. You accept a small dish, broth rich with miso, root vegetables tender beneath the surface. The warmth seeps through chilled fingers, fills the hollow of your belly. Spoiler: no meal tastes sweeter than one stolen from winter's teeth. Congratulations, you've earned it. Games beckon next, crude, clever, irresistible. A ring toss for trinkets, a blindfolded attempt to strike a hanging gourd. And the king of them all, masked wrestling in the square's far corner. Men stripped to the waist, faces obscured by painted cloth, grapple beneath shouted wagers. Strength matters, but so does guile. You watch one match as a slender youth outmaneuvers a hulking rival, sending him sprawling amid cheers and flying coins. In this ring, as in life, the sharp mind wins where the strong hand fails. A minor portrait, an old gambler perched on a low stool, one eye clouded, the other glittering sharp as glass. He lays small bets with steady fingers, smile flickering between delight and calculation. He has seen fortunes turn on a single toss, and made his peace with the game. Tonight, perhaps, he will walk home heavier, or lighter still. Now, the storytellers. A raised platform near the shrine draws a circle of eager faces. An old man, beard long as his staff, begins to speak. His voice weaves through the cold air, tales of vanished kingdoms, of fox spirits and foolish lords undone by hubris. The crowd leans close, breath held, each word sharp as frost, each pause deep as winter night. You listen, spellbound, and wonder, which tales will they tell of tonight? The crowd begins to thin, though laughter lingers, but not all retire to sleep. A side alley hums with quieter celebration. Dice games, whispered boasts, sudden bursts of anger quickly smoothed. You pass through unseen, a silent observer. The festival's face has many masks, and so the night deepens. The lanterns gutter low. The drums fall silent. You step back toward the house beneath a sky bright with indifferent stars. Another ritual ends. Another layer of this strange world revealed. And as the gate closes softly behind you, a deeper silence settles in, but not for long. Picture this. The house lies still, its lamps dimmed to soft embers. Yet behind certain doors, light burns late, and not all is peace. For beneath the rituals, the labor, the games, there waits a darker undercurrent. Law, punishment, fear. Tonight you will glimpse it, not in tale or warning, but in stone and iron. Spoiler, not every cage holds a villain. Congratulations, you'll walk back out. The retainer beckons, a rare break in his reserve. You follow through winding back corridors to the house's rear gate. Two men wait there, lanterns in hand. The iron keys at their belts speak louder than any badge. Tonight, a prisoner is to be transferred, and you will witness the system at work. The gate creaks open. Cold bites deeper than before. You step into the night once more. The magistrate's hall stands low and broad, stone footing beneath its wooden frame. Guards bow as your escort passes. You follow through a stark threshold. Inside, the air is thin, dry, stripped of comfort. Here judgments fall swift and often sharp. A magistrate in layered robes sits cross-legged, brush poised above a fresh scroll. Before him kneels a merchant, aged, pale, eyes sunken with sleepless dread. His crime: a false weight slipped into his scales. Small, perhaps, but trust is the coin of trade. The sentence: 3 days in the town stockade, goods seized for restitution. The merchant bows low, trembling, his future uncertain. Spoiler: law here is blade and balm. Congratulations. You remain observer, not judged. Beyond the hall, the jail. A narrow courtyard, its ground packed hard by countless footfalls. Cells line one side, heavy wood, barred windows dark. From within, faint coughs, murmured prayers, a single low moan. You approach one cell, drawn by curiosity unbidden. A lone figure sits within, young, head-shaved, robes soiled. A monk. His crime: speaking too boldly against a local lord. Truth unwelcomed. His gaze meets yours, steady, unbroken. A minor portrait. Eyes that have seen beyond fear, body bowed but not broken. His fate lies with the dawn. The jailer speaks softly as you walk on. Most here serve short terms: theft, fraud, drunken brawls. But not all. One cell remains sealed, its door marked in red. You pause, but the guard only shakes his head. Some doors are not for guests to know, and some fates not for guests to witness. Back through the courtyard now. A rough post stands near the gate, the stocks. Empty tonight, yet worn smooth by time and use. Public shame here wounds deeper than lash or chain. A merchant once, the jailer murmurs, spent 3 days bound there, and 3 years rebuilding trust. Spoiler: scars unseen cut deepest. Congratulations, your hands remain free. You return through the magistrate's hall once more. The scrolls now bear fresh ink, names, dates, debts repaid or enforced. Justice, such as it is, written in fragile lines. A fragile balance, a necessary threat. You bow slightly to the magistrate. He nods in return, eyes already on the next petition. The wheel turns on. Outside, the stars wheel higher still. The village lies hushed, save for distant dogs and the sigh of wind through bare branches. You step through the house gate once more, the iron chill lingering in your bones. Another mask lifted, another layer seen, and as the lamps gutter low, sleep edges closer still. But not yet. Picture this. The house lies deeper in shadow now. Rooms still save for the faintest creak of old wood. But sleep is no certainty here. Not when sickness walks unseen among the living. And tonight, you will glimpse that quiet, relentless battle of herbs and charms, of blood and breath, of life and its fragile tether. Spoiler: the healer is no mere craftsman. Congratulations. Tonight, you'll meet one. The retainer appears once more, expression unreadable. A summons, he says simply. You follow him through cold corridors to a side wing of the house. One seldom entered, kept apart. The door slides open to a room thick with the scent of camphor, smoke, and something darker. A healer kneels within, sleeves bound, hair tied high. Before her, a child lies fevered beneath layered quilts. You pause, the air itself seeming to resist each breath. Here, life balances on a blade's edge. The healer works with swift, precise grace. From a lacquered box, she draws slender needles, flicking them clean in a brazier's flame. Her touch is gentle, her gaze sharp as any warrior's. You watch as she inserts each needle with practiced ease, along scalp, wrists, ankles. Acupuncture, a dance of unseen rivers, seeking to unbind what illness knots. The child's breath slows, deepens. Sweat beads upon flushed skin. No words are spoken, none are needed. A minor portrait. The child's mother kneels nearby, knuckles white against the floor. She does not beg, does not weep, only watches. A mother's vigil wrought of steel and hope. She will not sleep tonight. Nor will the healer, beyond the room, the herb chamber. You step within at the healer's nod, drawn by the mingled scents. Bitter, sweet, acrid, sharp. Bundles of dried roots hang in ordered rows. Jars of powdered bark, coiled fungi, sun-bleached bones line narrow shelves. The healer moves among them with ease, fingers seeking known allies. Licorice root, to soothe. Poria fungus, to strengthen. And a rare treasure. Powdered antler, reserved for only the gravest need. She prepares a draught with swift, sure hands. You catch its scent, earthy, pungent, laced with faint sweetness. A potion of ancient wisdom and uncertain promise. Now a different task. The healer lifts a small charm, folded paper inked with protective sigils. She affixes it above the child's bed, fingers steady, voice low in invocation. Faith and medicine walk together here. The unseen world is no less feared than fever. Spoiler: belief can shape recovery as surely as tincture. Congratulations, you now understand why. A minor portrait, the healer herself. Middle-aged, hands scarred from countless burns, eyes lined with sleepless nights. Once apprenticed to a master in Kyoto. Now the lone guardian of this village's fragile health. Respected, feared, relied upon when no blade can serve. And tonight, tireless. You step back as the healer resumes her watch. The child stirs faintly, fever's grip eased but not broken. There will be more to do before dawn, and many such nights behind and ahead. You bow deeply before departing. Here strength wears no armor, and healing cuts its own deep path through darkness. Back through the silent corridors you walk once more. The house breathes low and slow, its inhabitants caught between sleep and shadow. You too feel the pull now, not of rest alone, but of reflection. Life here is no simple current. It swirls, eddies, tangles unseen, and as your steps slow, another door waits to be opened. But not yet. Picture this. The house lies hushed beneath the weight of midnight. But even now, behind certain doors, light flickers faintly, and the oldest, deepest currents of life flow on. Tonight you will glimpse them. Family, marriage, childhood. The weaving of generations beneath the armor of duty and ritual. Spoiler, no sword can cut these bonds. Congratulations, you'll trace them softly. The retainer beckons once more, steps near silent on the polished floor. This way, is all he says. You follow through a narrow side corridor, past faded screens painted with cranes and pine. The air warms slightly, touched with faint sandalwood. Here the private wing of the house begins, where roles soften and bonds show through the lacquered mask of rank. A world few outsiders witness. The first room stands open, voices low within. A family gathering, small, informal. The Lord's wife sits poised beside a brazier, her robe deep indigo embroidered with cranes. Beside her, her eldest daughter, perhaps 13, already graceful in motion and gaze. They fold paper cranes together, slim fingers creasing each line with deliberate care. A minor portrait. The girl, brow furrowed in concentration, lips parted in a whisper of counting. She folds not for play, but as practice. Patience, precision, beauty born from discipline. One day she will carry these same lessons into a match arranged beyond her choosing, and she knows it. You kneel quietly nearby as a tray of sweets is offered. Small, translucent confections dusted with rice flour, a simple gesture of welcome, and in its way, a test. You accept with both hands, bow slightly, taste with care. The sweetness lingers, fragile, fleeting, much like the moment itself. Beyond, another room, quieter still. A cradle of woven bamboo rests beside the hearth. Within, a child stirs, face soft with sleep. The mother hums a low, wordless melody, fingers tracing slow circles upon the child's back. A minor portrait. Her gaze, half weary, half fierce, holds the weight of one who guards the smallest spark of life against a vast, cold world. No ritual here, no audience. Only the oldest story told in breath and touch. You pass next through the bridal room, prepared though not yet used. Silk drapes hang pale against the dark beams, a lacquered chest gleaming with its hidden hoard, combs, sashes, embroidered robes. Each piece chosen to bind not just a union, but an alliance. Marriage here is a thread woven through duty, hope, and unspoken cost. Spoiler: love may bloom within. Congratulations, it is not required to. The retainer pauses beside a small study. Within, two brothers, perhaps 15 and 17, sit cross-legged over a battered board game. Shogi, the general's game. Their faces are still, but their eyes gleam with sharp delight. Here, rivalry is safe. Here, the battle leaves no scar. Yet beneath each move lies a deeper lesson. Strategy, patience, the cost of overreach. You watch in silence as the younger traps his elder's rook. A flash of triumph, a flicker of respect, another thread woven. Last, the ancestral alcove, a narrow chamber where tablets of past generations rest beneath faded banners. The air here hums faintly with incense. You bow, following your escort's lead. Names long past still shape the lives that move beneath this roof. Honor flows both forward and back, and here in this hush, you feel the weight of it. As you step back into the cooler corridor, the house seems softer somehow, less fortress, more living web. These ties of blood, of choice, of fragile hope hold stronger than steel, and you have walked among them. Now the lamps burn lower still, and sleep edges closer, slow and deep. But not yet. Picture this. The lamps flicker low now, shadows long and soft along the beams. Yet even as the house quiets, another pulse stirs, steady, domestic, unbroken. You will follow it now, into the heart of daily life, where blades rest and hands turn to simpler labors. Spoiler: the humble task is never small. Congratulations. Tonight you'll learn why. The retainer gestures once more, steps unhurried. You cross into the rear wing of the house, the domain of hearth and hand. Here warmth seeps through thin walls. The air hums with faint steam and older scents: soy, smoke, sweet rice, worn wood. The household breathes differently here. Less ceremony, more life. The kitchen stands wide and shadowed, a low flame banked beneath heavy pots. A woman stirs a slow simmered broth, motions calm as breath. Nearby, a younger girl grinds roasted seeds with a stone mortar, each press rhythmic, deliberate. You kneel quietly, watching. Dinner has passed, but preparations begin anew. Pickles to press, broth to save, rice to cool for morning porridge. In this cycle there is no true end. A minor portrait. The girl at the mortar, face half hidden beneath a loose braid. She hums faintly, an old tune worn soft with use. Her task tonight is simple. Yet each grain crushed, each hand's turn teaches patience, presence, pride in unseen work. Her future may stretch far beyond these walls, or not. But tonight, her place is sure. You rise, follow your escort into the storage chambers. Cool air greets you, sharper, touched with earth. Here rows of clay jars stand sentinel, their contents sealed in wax and cloth. Pickled radish, salted fish, dried persimmon. Winter's wealth caught in careful hands. A small bundle of rice straw hangs near the ceiling, bound tight with scarlet thread. A charm for preservation, for fortune. Belief mingles here with skill, and both matter. Now the weaving room, narrow, hushed. Two older women sit before broad looms, their shuttles flashing in slow rhythm. Silk and cotton thread glide between patient fingers. The patterns are simple tonight. Everyday cloth for sashes, for inner robes. Yet the care does not waver. Each thread placed true. Each line measured twice. Spoiler, perfection lies in repetition. Congratulations, you've seen its weave. A minor portrait. One weaver, her hands scarred from years of work, her eyes sharp still. She guides a younger apprentice with soft words and sharper looks. The girl's hands tremble at first, then steady. Line by line, the lesson passes on, and with it, the thread of tradition itself. The garden calls next, even at night. You follow into crisp air beneath stars sharp as cold coins. A boy crouches beneath a plum tree, brushing frost from its roots. For luck, the retainer murmurs. A small ritual. Superstition, some might say. Yet no one leaves it undone. Fortune favors care. You pause beside the well. A woman draws water with smooth, practiced pulls. The bucket creaks, cold wood against rope. The water gleams dark beneath the stars. She pours it carefully into waiting pots. Tomorrow's cooking, tomorrow's life. In this act, as in all here, presence matters more than haste, and so the round of tasks turns on. Quiet, steady, necessary. Here the house draws breath in ways no sword can command. And as you step back inside, warmth rising to meet you. Sleep draws closer still, but not yet. Picture this. Night wraps the house now, close and deep. Yet beyond its quiet walls, the village breathes on, a darker rhythm, less ordered, more alive. And tonight, you will walk its shadows, taverns, alleys, voices raised and hushed, the pulse of the world beneath the world. Spoiler, not all who wander tonight will welcome dawn. Congratulations, you will. The retainer pauses beside the gate, eyes measuring the stars. It is safe enough, he says at last. You step out beneath a sky sharp with frost, the air crisp as blade's edge. The village lies ahead, lanterns flickering low, smoke curling thin against the dark. A different world now stirs awake. The first tavern leans against the square's edge, beams crooked, roof patched in places. Its door stands open to the night. Within, warmth, noise. Life pressed close beneath low, smoke-blackened beams. You step inside, the scent of sake and old wood thick in your throat. Men crouch over rough tables, cups raised, voices raw with drink and tale. Here rank softens. The sword is worn but rests, and coin and wit rule the hour. A minor portrait, a lone poet in one corner, brush flicking quick lines across scrap paper, lips moving in silent measure. For each cup of sake, a verse. For each verse, a fleeting coin. Not all art is born in temples. You take a seat, a steaming cup pressed into your hand before words are needed. The sake bites sharp, warms fast. Nearby, a fisherman boasts of winter catches, hands carving fish from air with wide, looping gestures. Across from him, a merchant counts debts aloud, his companion laughing harder than the tale earns. The night here is rough-edged, honest. No scroll can contain it. Now the street again. An alley flickers with softer light, the lanterns of a tea-house finer than coin should allow. Within, low music, strings plucked soft as breath. Women in layered robes pour tea with measured grace, voices pitched low and bright. Yet beneath each smile, calculation flickers. Here alliances form, secrets slip, futures tilt unseen. Spoiler, the game never sleeps. Congratulations, tonight you watch, not play. A minor portrait. One hostess, her laugh bright, her gaze sharper still. She pours, listens, weighs each word. And tomorrow, she will remember every name, every slip, every whispered want. Knowledge here is the richest trade. Outside again, the night deepens. A lone flute drifts from a shadowed doorway, thin, haunting. A child sleeps curled against an old dog beside a shuttered stall. Two men argue low over a broken cart's worth. Life here breathes sharp and close, far from scroll and blade. Yet no less vital. Now the path bends homeward. The retainer walks beside you in silence. Footfalls soft against frost-hardened earth. The village behind hums still, a low pulse beneath the stars. Yet the house gate waits ahead, its light warm, steady. You step within, the door sliding closed on the world outside. Another mask lifted, another layer known. And now, at last, the house breathes low and slow. And sleep draws near, but not quite yet. Picture this. The house lies near silent now. Only the faintest crackle from the kitchen hearth, the distant drip of water from the eaves, the slow, deep breaths of those at rest. Yet not all sleep. For those who endure here, warriors, craftsmen, weavers, healers, wisdom gathers in the quiet hours. And tonight, it will be shared. Spoiler, not all lessons come from the blade. Congratulations, you're ready to listen. The retainer greets you at the threshold of a small inner room, one used for counsel, for tales too subtle for court. Come, is all he says. Within, a circle forms. Old retainers, craftsmen, a single elder woman from the kitchen, a gray-haired archer whose bow now rests against the wall. The brazier glows low between them. The air hums with smoke and words unspoken. You kneel at its edge, welcomed with a brief nod. An old potter speaks first, voice rough as river stones. You wish to know how to live here? 3 things. Do not hurry what takes time. Do not trust what comes easily. Do not speak what weighs the heart. The words settle into the smoke, simple as breath. Spoiler. The deepest truths fit few words. Congratulations, you've heard one. Next, the archer. Face seamed by sun and wind, eyes still sharp. Strength fades, skill fades, but presence, that remains. Walk with it, whether at market or at war. Let others see you are not prey. A minor portrait. This man, once feared along 3 provinces' borders, now teaches boys to loose arrows truer than sight alone allows. Still, the bow leans ready beside him. Some truths need no words at all. The kitchen elder speaks next, voice soft, smile wry. If you wish to last here, remember the order of things. Salt before fire, cold before heat, thought before word. Forget this, and even soup will scald you. A ripple of low laughter follows, yet her eyes meet yours, steady. Lesson learned. The retainer himself speaks last, gaze distant. You have seen much today. Good. But remember, seeing is not knowing. Listen longer than you speak. Step softer than you must. Stand firmer than you wish. And always, know where your own shadow falls. His words linger longer than the smoke, and in their wake, silence. A minor portrait. One young servant boy crouched at the room's edge, eyes wide, breath held. No place here for his words yet. But every line of his face speaks the same truth. He listens, and one day, he will speak in turn. The brazier dims lower still. One by one the elders rise, bows exchanged, words few. Their wisdom scatters back through the house like embers caught on a breeze. You rise too, the air cool against your skin, your mind weighted not with weariness, but with thought. Tonight no blade was drawn, yet you have gathered armor of another kind, and as you step once more through the quiet hall, sleep waits nearer now, but not quite yet. Picture this. The house breathes slow now, a vast, dark body at rest. Paper screens glow faintly with the last warmth of hidden lamps. The outer wind hums low beneath the eaves. And you, stranger in this place, are led at last to your room. For though sleep waits, the final turn of thought must pass first. Spoiler, dawn will come. Congratulations, you will greet it. The retainer slides the door aside, a quiet gesture of respect. Within, the room lies simple. Woven mat, folded quilt, a single candle guttering low. You step inside, the hush folding around you. The door closes with a soft sigh. Now, only your breath stirs the air. You kneel first before the small kamedana, the household shrine. 3 bows, slow and measured, a silent offering of presence, if not yet belonging. The candle's flame wavers, casting long shadows across bare wood. And as you rise, your mind stirs with all you have seen. The field's hard frost beneath weary hands, the potter's steady breath against kiln's heat, the archer's gaze through darkness, the merchant's tremble beneath the magistrate's brush, the healer's needle poised between life and loss, the dancer's first brave step, the gambler's smile behind clouded eye, the child's breath against a mother's song. Threads woven unseen through each hour, each word, each breath. A minor portrait. Yourself, kneeling here beneath unfamiliar stars. No blade upon your hip. No name whispered through these halls. Yet tonight, you carry more than you entered with. Weightless and weighty alike. You settle onto the woven mat, quilt drawn close. The pillow smells faintly of cedar and old sun. And as your breath deepens, thought turns, slow and wide. What is strength here? Not the sharpness of steel alone, nor the weight of gold, nor even the sweep of words across parchment. Strength is this, a pot well fired, a meal prepared with steady hand, a field tended against cold and hunger, a child held through the longest night, a bow drawn smooth through trembling age, a truth spoken beneath risk, a silence held with grace. The wind hums again beyond thin walls. Somewhere a lone bell marks the passage toward dawn. You feel it now, the pull of sleep, deep and certain. Yet beneath it, a small, quiet knowing. You have walked this world's shadowed paths and learned its softer blade. And so the candle gutters low. The house draws its final breath of night, and sleep folds you close, like woven silk, soft, strong, enduring, Finn, sleep well. Picture this. Somewhere beyond closed eyes, the world begins to turn once more. A faint gray light seeps through paper screens, cold and slow, and breath by breath, you rise toward it. Not swiftly, but as water drawn up through old stone. No voices stir yet. No sandals clack down polished floors. Only silence, thick as cloth. And within it, the echo of all you have seen. The house waits beneath first light. Its beams, its stones, its thin walls know 1,000 such dawns, and will know 1,000 more. Your place within them was brief, but the thread of your passing will remain, faint as smoke. What will you carry from this place? Perhaps the memory of a blade polished in silence, the rough curl of wood beneath a carpenter's hand, The weight of coin counted twice beneath a taxman's gaze. The warmth of sake shared beneath smoke-dark beams. The sharp cry of a hawk over frost-lit fields. The hush of a healer's prayer caught between life and loss. The patience of thread drawn true upon a loom. Or perhaps only this, that every life here, bright or shadowed, loud or still, moved with purpose unseen. And beneath the layers of duty and ritual, of fear and hunger, of pride and loss, a single quiet truth endured. Presence matters, in each breath, in each act, in each thread woven through time. And now the light grows stronger, edging pale gold. Your breath deepens, your body settles. The house fades behind you, its shadows softening. And with it, the weight of night lifts. The world beyond this dream waits, but not yet, not quite. Sleep now. Let the road wind on without you. You have walked far enough. For tonight, good night.